Thought I'd like to share with you this week the passage in Jeremiah 29, verse 11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." I know that for many people right now, there's still a lot of anxiety over what the future looks like with the coronavirus. The numbers are down, but the fear is still there as we start to open up more and more. And I think this passage, this verse is powerful. And it's also powerful because of the context. It was actually written to those Jews who had gone into exile, and they were living in Babylon. And there were false prophets that were proclaiming that Jerusalem would be restored and they would quickly be going home. But Jeremiah had a more somber message, but also still one of hope. And that was that after a period of 70 years, the Jerusalem would indeed be restored, but it would not be in their generation. And so Jeremiah told the people to settle down, to raise families, to pray for the prosperity of the city that is Babylon where they were. For as the city went, so they would go. And I think there's a lot of parallels for us, not only in this season of coronavirus, however long it lasts, but for us as believers more generally, in that we are all exiles, that this world in its current state is not our home, and we are looking forward to a city whose builder and maker is God. And so I think we need to have the same attitude that Jeremiah encouraged the exiles to have, and that is to settle down, raise our families, our grandchildren, whoever, pray for the prosperity of the city or the country that we are in, but always keeping in mind that our ultimate home is Jerusalem, which is symbolic of God's presence with us, his dwelling with us, and also the fulfillment of his promises to us, that God will restore all things. So just as Jeremiah didn't have a lot of answers for the people in the midst of being dragged off to exile, so I don't have a lot of answers as far as the coronavirus goes and some of the other upheavals that we're experiencing right now. But one thing I do know is that God has a plan for us. He's got a hope and a future for us as his people. And so we do not need to live in fear, but we can live in anticipation of God fulfilling his good word to us, that he will never leave us and he will never forsake us, that he will be with us to the end of the age, and that nothing, not even Satan, can stand against his church and his people. So may God bless you this week.